situation really is very concerning. Our report today, published with Oxford Economics, a leading consultancy in analytics, shows that the dual effect of Covid-19 and Brexit would result in a loss of GDP over the next decade of 6%. So very significant. The loss alone, just linked to Covid-19, would amount to approximately £50 billion per year. And in respect of a no-deal Brexit would be an additional £84 billion loss of GDP per year. So together, that's £134 billion loss per year. And to put that into context, the budget per year for the UK's National Health Service is less than the amount for 2018-19 is less than the amount of GDP that would be lost per year as a result of the combined impact of Covid-19 and a no-deal Brexit. So very, very significant impact for the UK industry as a whole.
So, Jennifer, I won't put you on the spot again by asking that question about Churchillian nonsense, but it seems to me, just looking at the hard data which you've drawn my attention to, the UK economy cannot cope with these dual effects. That's your summary, yeah?
Absolutely. And the only way to counteract that, if we do end up in a no-deal Brexit, is for the government to take some very decisive action in a number of different areas. The key areas the government's talked about is entering into a free trade agreement with the US, entering into a free trade agreement with the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership, the CPTPP, which is a regional free trade agreement around the Pacific Rim that covers 11 countries, including New Zealand, Australia, Mexico. But even just entering into those free trade agreements would not offset all the negative impacts of a no-deal Brexit. To give you an idea, the boost, for example, of entering into a US-UK free trade agreement is expected to be only 0.2% of GDP in terms of rise, whereas the CTPPP would only be 0.05%. So the government would have to take action in a number of other areas, such as government subsidies, looking at maybe tax rates for companies to boost the economy.
I get to the implications on some manufacturers as well, because there were reports over the weekend about all the regulation that was required, all the extra paperwork at this stage. What are the implications on the manufacturing sector at this point? And because clearly we've seen a roller coaster ride, the start of lockdown with the extreme restrictions, manufacturing was hit, then it bounced back to an extent. What happens from here?
The situation with leaving the European Union, so the end of a transitional period on the 1st of January 2021, is that the UK will no longer have access to the EU single market and customs union. And what that means from a goods perspective is there'll be no more freedom of movement of goods. So goods entering the EU from the UK, unless there is a deal between the UK and the EU, will be subject to the payment of tariffs at the current rate in which goods imported from outside the EU into the EU, for example, from China, would have to pay. So you'd have additional tariffs, but also non-tariff barriers. So the UK products, for example, agricultural products, would have to comply with the EU's high regulatory standards. The same for pharmaceutical products, they would have to comply with the standards of the EU. So if the UK wanted to be able to depart from those standards, there would be high barriers still to being able to export products into the European Union.